Call this Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 meeting of the City of Manassas Park Planning Commission to order. The time is 7 p.m. My name is Lester Finkel. Sitting this evening are Michael Carrera, John Evans, and Kevin Petak. First order of business is the moan of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Carrera, would you please lead us?
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next agenda item, we actually have, it says none on here, but we actually have the November 12th.
Yeah.
Lana, was it November 12th?
Yes.
Okay. We actually have the November 12th, 2025 meeting minutes. I had looked through it and don't have any adjustments to make. Are there any adjustments from commissioners? Okay. Seeing none, would anyone care to make a motion to adopt the November 12th, 2025 meeting minutes as is?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Carrera. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Approve the agenda. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. So would anyone care to make a motion to approve the agenda as is?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Carrera, second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Evans. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We've already adopted the meeting minutes from the November 12th, 2025. Are there any members of the public present this evening? Seeing none, we'll move along. We have a number of new business items this evening. The first is the election of officers, the chair and the vice chair. Commissioner Evans.
Chairman, I'd like to nominate Mr. Finkel.
Thank you. I accept. Thank you. And I would like to nominate Commissioner Evans for vice chair.
So moved.
Then at this time, I'll just ask, well, there was a motion by, sorry, but that's fine. Thank you. And accept?
Yes.
Good. Then I'll ask for a motion to accept both myself as chair and Commissioner Evans as vice chair.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Carrera, second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Petak. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next agenda item is the comprehensive plan update, discussion, input, and activity. We have the Stantec consultant group with us this evening, representatives from them, and we're looking forward to having an introduction from them, discussion, and have our initial feedback to the representatives there. So at this time, please approach, and it's all yours.
Commissioners, council member, thank you very much. Pleasure to be with you tonight and to have the opportunity to talk about updating your comp plan. We've been working with Mickey and Calvin and the city manager for a few weeks now. As you know, we submitted our proposal back in May, and it took a while to sort out all the legal issues with the contract and everything. So we're really excited that we get a chance to work with you now and move it forward. Not least because my partner Jason Besky and I'm John Bachman. Our practice specializes in suburban retrofit and making walkable places in the suburbs. We have a national practice of which Mr. Besky is the leader. And so when we saw that Manassas Park was looking to update its comp plan and that you'd already made so much progress in placemaking in Park Central, and that you already, clearly you're committed to that direction and have gone a long way down the road already, it was very exciting for us to have the opportunity to support you in that endeavor. So we'll just a note about Stantec, besides the suburban retrofit, which would have been the next slide right there. Stantec is a large architecture and engineering company. We have 30,000 plus employees. We do pretty much everything related to city making. Fun fact about Stantec is that we are Canadian, which is why we're so pleasant and nice to work with. And we also have pretty nice balance between impact and profitability, unlike
you're
some
from
of our
Montreal.
yeah, Montreal. And,
I've been there.
have you? Yeah. Have you been to the Standec office there?
What?
Have you been to the Standec office in Montreal?
No, I've not.
Oh, but you went
I
to
went
the city of
I went
Montreal.
to the casino.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Quebec
All
City.
right. The truth comes out.
And you have to speak. You cannot speak. You have to speak everything in English or in French.
In French.
They were really didn't like that.
On peut faire la présentation en français si vous voulez. Il n'y a pas de problème. I like to hang out in Montreal too,
That's an official
as you can see. So the thing about, within this big company, we have kind of this boutique practice, which we call Urban Places. It's 60, 70 people across the country in 4 or 5 different hubs. And our thing is urban planning and urban design, so we're heavily into placemaking and making livable, walkable places, whether they're in currently urban or ex-urban, other areas is a secondary question, but it's all about quality of life and being able to walk down the street and see some people and interact and have all those great 20th century social qualities, which makes life so pleasant. So that's us in Urban Places. And so our approach in a nutshell to working with you to update the plan is fairly straightforward, not a unique process, talking about assessing the existing conditions, which we've started to do and will produce a draft of this month. We will engage the community and get feedback on their preferences and priorities and what they're looking for in Manassas Park in the future. And we have a public participation plan, which we can talk about, and I can pull up and we can have a look at together tonight. And then using best practices in suburban retrofit, placemaking, and community-driven planning, we will come up with the 3 small area plans for Park Central, Connors Center, and Four Corners, and then stitch them together with policies and strategies related to the systems that bind the 3 areas: mobility, open space, public facilities, and the natural environment. So that's our plan in a nutshell. This is the schedule. It may be a little small for you, but yeah. In general, here is the project initiation and the existing conditions. That takes last month and this month. Then we get into community visioning and engagement, which will take us pretty much through the winter. In the spring, we will be drafting recommendations in the key areas, the normal stuff, all the ones I just said, and a few others. And then running them by you and making sure that they're correct and the best they can be, and we'll make changes as we go along, and then we'll produce a complete plan and edit it more than once. And then at the end, when we're all happy with it, we will create an online plan. And people will be able to go to the Manassas Park webpage and see their comp plan right there. So that's what we're going to do in a nutshell over the next year. For us, some of the critical questions to address, and these were things that occurred to us as we were writing the proposals, so we'll be updating them as we work with you and the departments and the people. But in a nutshell, how can Manassas Park enhance its sense of place while improving connectivity and economic vitality? Housing should be a big part of it. You've already developed quite a bit and over a pretty good range of price points, making it more affordable to some of the kind of middle income and lower middle income households. It could get even more diverse, which would make it more affordable, and that would be a good thing to explore during the plan. And then generally, how can you modernize your suburban fabric to create a more sustainable and people-oriented future? So we would see those as 3 important things that we will address as we go through the plan. And then in terms of how the plan has to work for the city, and for the Planning Commission specifically, these are some kind of preliminary ideas that basically should be food for thought for us and things that we can discuss tonight. For example, how can we make the comp plan more usable in the current planning process? How can we, improve the process by which a development application comes in? You're looking at it in relation to the comp plan. The comp plan provides enough guidance for you to say, yes, in general, this is compliant with the policies and the spatial layout and the other aspects of the plan, and then you tend to think that it is satisfying those criteria and can move forward, what are those specific guidelines and criteria that you require out of the plan? And then it's up to us to figure out how to modify the plan as we go forward so it meets your needs and the needs of the current planning process. So part of this is, yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but
No problem.
just to continue on that, we also, as the Planning Commission, have an annual starting point for the budget.
Mm-hmm.
It starts here. In February, we hear it, at least the early part, the first few years of it, and then we recommend to the governing body. So we have to make a call as to whether the budget each year is consistent with the comprehensive plan. So
Okay.
I appreciate what you just said about the applications that may come before us, and then we have to decide how we're going to recommend that to the
Right.
governing body. But we have that budgetary component that each year that I've been on the commission, as chair, I have said on behalf of the commission, we find the budget to be consistent with the comprehensive plan. So
Right.
that is very important.
It's a higher
as-
level first step before you get to
Correct.
current planning and development applications, right?
Very good. So
Yeah.
taking in mind, as you're saying, about application by application, but also
Yeah,
keeping
overall.
in mind the budget. Yes,
Yeah.
if that, we should have a document that we can use as the commission to actually look at it and say, yes, we can see the components in the budget, in the comprehensive plan, and it is consistent with that.
Right.
So I just wanted to
Good.
offer that as well.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Some of the other aspects that we thought might be relevant, you can tell us, completing the policy framework that you already have in the old plan and that you've added to recently, especially with your specific plans and expectations for the 3 areas, which were updated in 2022 and are currently on the website. So we're familiar with that part of the plan, but there are probably pieces that are missing, maybe in some of the other elements. I know you have a lot of proposals and plans with respect to transportation and mobility, but maybe some of the other elements aren't as well fleshed out and will need some more attention from us. And then strategies for implementation, referencing existing plans. Again, in transportation, you have a lot of them. They should be referred to, so they come under the comp plan is the overall umbrella, and then your other either small area plans and sectoral master plans, whether it's transportation or facilities, they come under that, and together they make one complete planning framework. And then the public facilities 2232 process and the associated aspects of the plan that will support that. So a lot of it is building out the relationship between the comp plan, the zoning ordinance, and the development applications in addition to the budget. And so our question to you will be, how else does the Planning Commission want to use the comp plan? And specifically, what are the shortcomings of the one you're using now so that we can make changes and make the future one more usable and meet your needs? And then lastly, and sort of open-ended, is what else should we keep top of mind? What other guidance do you have for us? And so I want to add one point back here on the schedule. We have some suggestions to you in terms of ways that you can participate in the planning process and weigh in on our outputs, not only give us guidance in the beginning, but then after we produce something, gets circulated by staff through you. And so you'll see this this document is in the revised work plan, which is currently under implementation, but getting some inputs on goals and objectives during this phase, inputs on the baseline analysis when we produce it, inputs on the public engagement plan, which Mickey can distribute to you tomorrow, and which I can also pull up if we want to kind of quickly thumb through it, if you will, and talk about that tonight. Then, importantly, inputs on draft policies and strategies when we're getting the key policy recommendations in the beginning before we've actually written the whole plan, and then inputs on the draft themselves. Basically, that was our suggestion for how the Planning Commission can participate, but we're open to suggestion.
And does that come out to about, like, say, quarterly or at least like every couple months, every 2 or 3
Yeah,
months?
at least quarterly.
Because it
Yeah.
would, if commissioners think otherwise, but I would think at least quarterly it would be, I would appreciate a check-in, see and if there are any deliverables at that time.
Yes.
Or something that we got
Right.
more recently, we would be able to
Right.
interact with you during that time. So if quarterly at least begins, sounds like a reasonable approach.
Yeah.
We can start that way, and then.
That works for
if-
us.
If we as the commission then see, maybe during something that's a little more intensive, maybe have a check-in, a month or
Right.
two, just because
We can
it's
have
more
an
intensive, but.
ad hoc one
a
when it's
quarter
time
just-
to do
Every
it,
quarter
but-
sounds like it's reasonable.
I would add one caveat to that, is that if you're going to want our input quarterly, then typically we would want documentation a month before that or so that we have ample time to study it and provide good input to you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We'll definitely, we'll get you the documents in advance so you can read them first.
Appreciate that, just to give us lead time
Yep.
on that. Good.
For sure. So, we have some slides that are specifically about the 3 areas and our initial ideas about them and the types of things we'd be focusing on. So I can ask my partner Jason to present those slides if you want to get into that now, or we can have our general discussion about how you want the comp plan to be upgraded and improved over time first, and then dive into the 3 areas. And we also have a printout of the whole city, which we can just stand around and draw on, and you can make points to us and with their Post-its and stuff. So it's up to you how you want to go forward.
Would commissioners like a chance to say what you're thinking about right now?
I'm ready to move into the second phase, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Evans?
Same thing.
Okay,
Same with me.
okay, good.
So you want to go to
continue.
continue with the presentation?
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Jason, how about you want to come up and do these 3 slides?
Oh, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. I guess I wasn't following what,
Yeah.
and what I'll do is cover it at a high level. I think once we're standing around a map and can speak to some challenges and opportunities, it makes kind of our interpretation of this and hearing what you have to say about it a little more useful, I believe. So, I'm not going to try to read this verbatim, but early on, John and I looked at the city as a network, and we look at it, and you've mentioned this at a high level, framework wise. You have your roads and your mobility, your open spaces, your environmental areas that you want to protect, and then you have the various land uses. So at this stage, we're really looking at it from a framework perspective. But how do these 3 areas fit into that framework is what we're really thinking about. So we know that Park Central, the city center, is where the energy, the vibrancy, your most dense areas likely will be, and things will kind of emanate from there. Some of the challenges we're going to run into, obviously, with being an auto-oriented community, in an auto-oriented area, is how do we balance pedestrians with vehicles, with other modes of transportation, whether it be bikes, scooters, what have you. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is be able to provide options and hear what people would like for mobility, for open space, for land uses. But yeah, the city center, Park Central, everything will kind of emanate from there. If there's a celebration in Manassas Park, this is where people are, if you ask them where are we going to go to gather, it's going to be here. And I think that's great. A lot of the communities we deal with, they don't have that. We have to create that from scratch. So like John was saying, you've given yourself a great head start and something we can really build off of in our ideas. 4 Corners is a little different. The first time, I don't know how many times I've come down through here and not known I'm in Manassas Park. But I think that's really one of your biggest opportunities, is start to show people who you are. And you do that by tying into the framework and through all these holistic goals and principles that we'll come up with through the comp plan. There are opportunities. We're going to do some analysis that will help to point us in a direction for densities, land uses, mobility recommendations. What should the streets look like? Manassas Drive is such a great opportunity to pull people off of 28 and get them to the city center. But you can start that celebration, start that identity at 4 Corners. It is what it is today, but we're looking at a 20-year plan. So what could Manassas Park be in 20 years? And maybe it is tied into the city center, it's walkable, but there's going to be a lot of challenges right now because it's all concrete and it's all auto-oriented uses. We don't want to see those types of things go away. People should have options, but we want to see the right things in the right place and something that's going to be economically viable and advantageous for the community. And then Connor Center. Lots to dig into here. There's going to be, and we'll understand more as we get into the analysis and speak to the community. There's a lot of opportunity to turn the page, not get rid of. Again, flex industrial uses are very important, but we want to make sure that they are safe, they're contributing. We want to make sure that we're maximizing the opportunities within there. So are there other types of uses that could be integrated in Connor Center? Wholesale or, piecemeal, there's ways to do that. We want to look at infill. We want to look at connectivity, but there's ways to enhance, even if it is the state of the way it is today, there's ways that you can enhance that. And we're going to look at, in all three of these areas, we're going to look at the range of, should we look at completely transforming this area or this parcel, or should we preserve it? Understanding where things might fall within that will help us to make recommendations at the end of the day. So we're not going to come in with any preconceived ideas. We know what the possibility of what can happen. We want to hear from you, from the constituents of this community, from the departments and department directors before we really formulate our ideas. But understanding kind of that framework in the three areas that we're dealing with, and then hearing from people and then starting to fit together how we can accommodate these things. We want everybody to be able to somehow see themselves in the plan. Even if they can't directly see it, they should know that we've heard their input and maybe why we can't do a certain thing that they want. But we want to build consensus. We're not going to have 100% agreement. We want to have civil discussion throughout and be respectful of everybody that lives in the city and that participates in the city. So with that, I think it's, unless you have any questions, we can take a round of questions. We'd love to stand around the map and just hear what if you want to point things out geographically or citywide that we should be aware of, or challenges, opportunities. When we do workshops, and one thing we definitely want to hear from you as well, and I don't know, maybe you want to do this as we kick into, before we go to that's exactly where I was going. So we have a public engagement plan. Again, Mickey will share that with you. And it's our proposal to reach the community as best we can. But we want to hear from you to see if you have any suggestions. Maybe there's a focus group we could put together, a pop-up we could do somewhere, have a table. We want to get the word out because none of us want to get to the end of this having not done our best to reach, the population. So maybe we should talk about that a little bit. If you have, let me ask you this, are there certain, what's that?
While you're talking, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, are there certain events or let's start back up. Are there certain methods that you have seen or would prefer, like from a workshop to maybe it's more intimate focus groups or neighborhood meetings? I would like to hear what kind of outreach you would like to see, what you think, because the people that live here way better than we do, so, and what they might have a propensity, how they may participate. So if you have any thoughts as to, and we can get more detailed as we can get into it, but just overarching thoughts as to how we can reach the community best. And we know working with the school district and, pulling in families and students through that avenue could be, potentially effective. So if there's any thoughts, and we have John, you can pull that. I'm gonna grab it.
Okay.
Well, with respect to the markets that we have and the evening events that we have, they seem to be well attended. How do we as the city put out for those? I mean, that's a place to begin to think about for making sure we're at least getting to those, either if it's a certain way to advertise them.
Yeah, if I make, pardon me if I make comment. Those events are designed to draw people into the city that don't live here. So from the standpoint of getting feedback from residents,
Yes.
that's not going to be a high-value target.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
These were some of our initial ideas about methods we can use to collect information. First of all, an online survey, which can be bilingual, and you can do it in the comfort of your own home. So it's kind of easier, it's kind of level in the way that it can access different communities and different groups in the city. It doesn't mean you're going to get a 100% participation rate from all of them, but the ones that won't come to workshops, they might answer an online survey. Similarly, listserv and postcards, using email listserv and emailing everyone on your list at once versus literally sending out postcards, that could be a very effective way of getting to people. As Jason said, pop-ups, and if we had more community events, so far we have, in thinking about the ones in Manassas Park that we could kind of piggyback on and have a kiosk and talk about the plan, something like this basically, with a banner and a few other things, and Jason and I standing there talking it up. Most of those events in Manassas Park take place in the nice weather, in the summer. There are fewer in the winter. So that'll be a bit of our challenge, but let's put our heads together and see what we can come up with, whether it's at the schools, and we have the schools listed here, grocery stores, soccer fields, churches. These are all places where we can literally pop up and have conversations with people. A project web page is an activity that's included in our work. We're going to build that for you for this plan. And then citywide public meeting, usually sort of, later on to get feedback and announce things and inform people. Normally a community workshop earlier on to get inputs from people about their preferences and priorities. So, if we can do one, that'd be great. If there's no point in organizing one and not having anyone show up, so we have to be, have some reasonable confidence that there will be interest and people will show up. But all other things being equal, it'd be great to have a community workshop. And then focus groups, what could be with representatives of the Spanish-speaking community, could be with real estate development professionals, could be with business people. Those are usually pretty good vehicles. And finally, we had the idea of, it wasn't us necessarily, but in talking with Nikki and Calvin, the idea of an art charrette with children. It's another way to get to a different group. So that's kind of, and in this plan, this draft plan, each of those is described and then it gets into logistics and how we're going to work together to hold these events, roles and responsibilities, and timeline, evaluation and reporting. So any initial reactions in terms of strategy for reaching people in the community, or even strategy for reaching subsets of people in the community?
And we are as a diverse city. There was an article more recently in the Post about a month ago where it highlighted the diversity of the city of Manassas Park. So based upon the items that you just went over, keeping in mind the diversity aspect, you have touched on the bilingual aspect or the language part of it, but also then understanding where they're located, the groups are located within the city, and then we have the senior center on the one end, we have the schools, as you mentioned. On the other end, we've got the single-family residences. We do have, the Signal View Park there that if it's a nicer time weather-wise, could be an outdoor type of a situation. But that would be something that the city would be able to build off of there for a location anyway. So taking that into consideration with the diverse aspect of the city would be a breakout of the demographics, if as much as we can, and see how that, and then people, when they're working, if they're not able to make certain times, would a weekend be better possibly, or those that can make
Thursday
evenings.
evening or
But
Tuesday
then
evening.
we have the VRE here, and I work in DC and go back and forth by the VRE, so
we
that's
can catch them on the platform. Thought about that.
so that's just a matter of keeping in mind then who might be available when. Mr. Pitak?
Well, I have two questions. I guess I like the idea of outreach through the schools, because I'm thinking, where are we going to hit the most population in Manassas Park? And it's probably schools. that touch a lot of our citizens. And then the VRE, anything related to the VRE, because it's a high traffic area, there's a lot of traffic through there. So I like outreach through those areas, those high traffic areas where we have a chance of tapping into a lot of our population. I'd like to hear from you a little bit more as to, have you done similar projects to this? I'm sure you have, where you've done outreach before to the community. And what methods have you used? Like whenever you tap in to the schools specifically, how do you approach that? What do you do specifically?
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting because I was preparing in the back of my mind to say we've used all these methods, but tapping into the schools in a big way is not one that we've used recently, right?
Yeah, not recently, and it's usually done as a kind of a one-off, and it's you'll find an art class, maybe there's a teacher in there, and the owners, hey, the community's, let's talk about inspirational art for the community going through a new planning process, and they'll do any type of interpretive thing, and they can display it somewhere, but otherwise, it can, or if there's a civics course, that's possible, but we've done all the traditional methods. Typically, the workshop approach, the series of workshops, where you maybe have 2, 3, 4 workshops throughout a year and a half process, is the way, that's our typical methodology. But we're finding more and more the pop-ups, meeting people where they are, has been more effective, particularly in this region, particularly because there's such a diversity of people.
Basically, we were driven to move away from the traditional workshop charrette approach because we couldn't reach enough people. The whole, not just us, but the whole industry. So hence the need to have alternative means, whether it's social media, whether it's an email, a postcard, all these other things contribute to our understanding.
That was my question was a little bit more specific than that, though, I think, is that I'm thinking about outreach to those specific platforms or areas because we're going to tap potentially a lot of population in those areas.
Right.
I'm not thinking
At the
that
train
you
station,
go
I
to that venue and you do a presentation there.
Okay.
I'm thinking about using those areas to tap a lot of the population, and I'm wondering how it is then you get to the population, because I think one of the problems we have here in Manassas Park, and I certainly would welcome Commissioner Carrera, since he sits on council, as perhaps a better perspective on this, is getting the community involved, I think, and we want to get the community involved in this. I think that's critical that we hear lots of different perspectives and views. And I'm thinking, okay, let's go to those high traffic areas and get the community involved somehow, or get them to participate somehow, whether it's by invitation there through the schools, that they come to a meeting here or something like that. I don't know. And that was my second question that I was going to get into, which is more to Commissioner Carrera, which is, have we as a city done this sort of outreach effort in the past, and what's worked? What's worked and what hasn't worked?
So my experience, from what I've seen in the past, we've done some workshops and they have been successful. When we've done too many, they've been generally attended low. We always tried to bilingual one another one. We had a manager prior that was very active at trying to reach out. But he did, to my opinion, from what I saw and being attending through them, the attendance was really low. I think we got to like 7 or 8. And then there'd be one big one, you get 20. The bilingual one, you get like 10.
Okay.
But I think you have to go, again, through social media. The webpage would work, just surveying with the entire document and just having basically, as long as it's not so long, and just getting a survey and a response. But going to some of those events, even if it's on the evening, when we have the events like the Friday night, even if they're not here, at least you can start that point, that initial phase or initial approach, say, look, we're going to be having a workshop. This is very preliminary. You can have a big voice and survey people there as well. I wouldn't be opposed to surveying some of the people outside the city as well, because if they're driving in, they may want to see something that we may be missing and may want as a possibility. It's just as part of a thought process.
Well, commuters, and passers through.
Yeah, so just engaging them and then trying to do some traditional workshops, the social media, through the outreach, and then I would think those are the important pieces there. Unfortunately, my experience is the city is it's commuter friendly. It's very commuter friendly. A lot of people are exhausted. We have very high commute times to a lot of the areas here. People just want to go home. They don't want to be bothered. So we have very low attendance from the public in a lot of our meetings, and it's hard. It's a barrier to get across sometimes to get outreach. to them. But I think the event piece, whether it be the farmer's market or the Friday night, and trying to engage some of those in social media
Yeah,
workshops.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. What's difficult, when we start, we're at this visioning stage, and that's where we want people to, really provide that inspired input. So, and you can do that at those events, but so in the wintertime, there's not a lot of events.
Right.
How can we generate, maybe the library is part of the way to do it, but, the school does have a big voice, so it would be great to tap into that. VRE has a captive audience and grab some of the commuters and locals, so we can tap into that.
I think we could meet with the leaders of those two institutions and talk to them about, explore different ways to get people involved, right? As you point out, it's not just us going to the schools
Right.
and chatting them up with a little kiosk or something. Why don't we talk to some of the, the leaders of the school system and explore different ways with them about how to.
And I would meet with every council member, because we each have a subsection of the
Okay.
of population that we represent, very different, even amongst the political parties. We have a different section of people we kind of cater to as well, or more like direct to us. So each one of us may have a list, or we try to, some of us have a list, and of, people we can engage and, reach out to, whether each of us have 30, 40, 50 people, and then you get a larger number. And I think the school board may have the same as well. May not be as large, but they may have as well. That's an important component.
That's a good one, yeah.
So.
But I do like the idea of going to the leaders of those, those areas, because they'll know better how you can best approach outreach there.
Yep. Okay, excellent.
And I don't know if the water bill that goes out each.
I thought about that,
That's
We can stuff something in an
that's
envelope.
dedicated,
yeah.
and if there was a certain survey at some point that you wanted to at least reach the water folks, those using the water for the city, that's
That's a lot of
something that
information,
could be at least pointed for that,
Sure.
and you'd at least get it to them, and just a matter of them dropping it off, or however they normally set, drop off their payment through the mail, or just drop it
Yeah.
off here. So that was just a thought about reaching them to start with, making sure they at least get it in the mail.
Yeah.
Good idea. So are you interested in gathering around the map a little bit and talking about
Point some stuff out.
things?
Yeah.
And then we can come back here and just put it on the record there, sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know how you.
Yep. Take a, oh, the mic.
Yeah, I'll be on
Okay,
the mic.
good. We
Just
can
one
just
at the
keep
camera.
going there, great.
We'll get a bigger one in here next time. So there's an exercise that we would do at a workshop, we call it, this is the visioning workshops, it's called the Love More Less exercise. And people will come up to the map and see a map of their community. We'll put some marker, orient people usually, you have to do that. But what you'll see on the color here is, that's the three small areas. But in that exercise, where people are given Post-its and asked three questions. What do you love about this area? What do you want more of? And what do you want less of? And that is such an easy way for us to initiate conversations, get to the opportunities and challenges, and then start to catalog the input and track that from the community. And by the end of the night, if we have a map full of Post-its, that's something great to see. So I guess just generally starting high level, we understand the key challenges, but what is it that you love about Manassas Park? What is indispensable, and is it the people? What do you love about the place? How about that?
For me, the people, diversity, the quality of life in the area is decent. The only thing I do not like about the city is the tax rate.
So you want less of is the tax rate.
He does that over there.
Okay, well, let's dig into that a little bit. So the people, the diversity, how does that play itself out in Manassas Park? You have the cultural events and.
We have a series of events. It's just a mix of people. It doesn't have to be, to me, focused so much on culture. It's just a mix of people.
It's just
It's just
broad
people.
mix, yeah.
It's just people. It's,
Okay.
it's just every kind of people, and it intertwines with everyone. Speak out.
So I love the fact that it lives like a smaller city,
Absolutely, yeah.
but yet still has access to a lot of stuff in the surrounding area. including the stuff in the city that's developing, the restaurants and, different venues that you can go to throughout the area.
If you want to write
And-
any of this down, please,
And,
just.
the theater that's going to be built is a good example of a venue that we could go to. So I like the fact that it lives, again, like a smaller city, but yet you can tap into all this other stuff.
Right.
Small city feel, big city
Big
amenities.
city amenities,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's, actually, I feel that
Yeah.
immediately. Yeah.
What about you, Lester? What stands out
So
on the positive side?
When I came to City Manassas in 2015, Manassas Park in 2015, bought a new townhome, and it was right nearby the VRE. So for me, working in DC, I was living in Alexandria at the time.
Yeah.
It was about an hour commute. This has added about another half an hour, but I enjoy the area. I love history as well, Civil War I've studied since I was about 8 years old, started reading about that.
You talk about that, actually.
Manassas is just right in the cockpit of the area there and all that, and it's like when I was about 7 or 8, my parents went on a driving trip from New Jersey and came down to the area of Manassas, and here I am,
Battlefield.
years later,
Yeah.
I'm living in it. It's like,
Back to the
it just
battlefield.
truly is something to be part of, and it's
Seminole vacations.
yes, and it is comfortable living. I find it to be an enjoyable place to live in. We got the couple of parks that are on either end of the city, and then just and this part of it too, being on the commission, that was a part that I enjoyed. I put my name in when I first got here. I had been on a commission years before, and so that was important to me as well to see if I could continue that in a different jurisdiction. So affordability was a part of it too, because I needed to find a place I could afford on my own income. So anyway, those are just some of the things I like.
Those are good ones.
Conscious good image, yeah.
The same thing, the small town atmosphere approach to it. It's kind of slipped away from that a little bit in the last several years.
How so?
Kind of
Yeah,
been-
I'd like to hear about the threats that, and we can, yeah.
Well, the increase in the population. actually
Population and
has done
traffic
that.
is
Yeah,
kind of
the
the-
traffic has done, so that's kind of, but I mean,
Do you mean
Cent-
because of the, in Park Central, like more people living in the new housing there? Or
this area
throughout
here,
the city?
Throughout the city.
Yeah.
It's changed.
That's the whole
area.
But the traffic, right, the traffic.
You know,
goes
there
across
was
the
a
area.
time when it
Right.
ended here.
Okay.
There was a time when it ended here.
I see.
I was here during all this time.
There, you saw
And,
all the
yeah,
faces. huh?
Then it ended here, then
now
it
it goes
extended
right out
back
through.
here, and it's right on through.
Yeah,
And this was not even but an afterthought, the
yeah.
park here.
Uh-huh.
So, I think Central, as far as bringing people in and enjoying the environment, you've got your 4 shopping centers. You got your Signal Hill Shopping Center, and then you got the City Center. You got your 28 Manassas Drive Shopping Center. And one that's kind of left out of it a little bit is the area around the police station, that little bit of shopping center in that area. And that is something that can be valuable. I know there's some areas back in there that it's kind of left a little bit out of it.
So you like the shop, the variety of the shop, do you think that's adequate?
These
Yeah.
lots right here.
It,
There's some retail right there.
Yep.
That's the police station.
We should have done a
This is the
small
retail,
plan.
or vice versa.
yeah, make that the word, it's not too late.
No, we should have. I
That
need to.
is, this
Okay.
is the Public Works building.
I mean, the police department's very nice, but around it,
Oh,
just
Is
possible.
that the police?
Let us
Yeah,
take a
this
look at it.
this section
We'll
here,
go out there next time.
I don't know
See
what
if we
the
have any
talk is on the
suggestions.
Public Works building. Still.
Yeah, I mean, it-
They were looking.
That's the land
those
there.
areas are, or parcels are probably a good idea to look into.
Need to get over there, yeah, and take a look at
I
it.
know, yeah, because the Public Works building is old.
that's the
and
one
It's right on the edge of the, okay, yeah, we did look, I remember looking at that, yes.
It's hard to tell on this map where it is.
This is a little easy.
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a 7-Eleven. This is a little strip shopping center here,
Mhm.
see?
If you need,
And the reason I mentioned that,
Mm-hmm.
the reason I mentioned that shopping center specifically is because that's the only thing up here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, this section here is kind of left out a little bit.
Yeah.
That marker.
It's a little bit of a distance to go to
It is.
28 and of course, Park Central,
Yep.
which is the main area. Plus, if something goes here a little bit, you're drawing from the county on this end. Over here, we're already drawing from the county and the city from this area and there, which obviously can be a little bit better, but.
Do you have a boundary for the city and county on this?
That
Is
red
that red
That's the
line?
red, yeah.
Is that red line?
Yeah.
So there's not much land in there.
And this area is kind of, I don't think we take advantage of some of the history down in Signal Hill Park.
Oh, yeah, right.
As far as that, I think that could be,
Maximize.
So more, would
To
you
be
put, would that
maximized.
be like, we want more of that,
Yeah,
and we need to
it's-
enhance that, kind
Yep.
of? Okay.
it's quite, Lester knows, it's quite rich in history.
Yes.
Yeah.
Civil War.
It is. Civil
A
War.
lot of people don't know that. There's, the old timers, some of them know it.
House right
New
here.
people don't know it, yeah.
Yeah, it's,
There was a
it-
hospital for a period of time, I think, wasn't there?
It's not just Manassas. We've
Well,
got,
exactly.
we've got,
Well, that was
we've
the
got it
first
here
battle.
too.
Was it the first battle of Manassas?
And the second one in 1862 as well, so,
There?
I mean, they were both around the same
Around the
area,
same
but
area.
we've got
Right.
a portion of that already here.
Right.
That's, it's pretty impressive.
To me, I'm not so worried about this this area here. This has been on for like 20 years. I don't see much can be done here. This is probably way out, like the 2050s
Yeah,
or
and
something
so
like that.
it's- you think
I
it's
I would like to
beyond
see a focus here, keep the police station. The police station's a newer building, but just generally spread out here, what can be here. I think like a smaller grocery store, an apartment complex with something small could be on this side on the,
So
because
we're-
there's open area there.
No, I-
Yeah, but not the police
so,
department.
yeah, it's good
Keeping in
it's good to
mind-
hear that.
We're limited on.
But this one here, I
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
That
this,
is the only thing up here.
what I'd like to see.
That's something that
Yeah.
could be.
If something were to change here, I'd like to see more low residential, but like more streetscaping
Yeah,
and more
placemaking,
walkable.
and-
Yeah,
so you-
more appealing onto the entry level.
I couldn't agree with you more. So people should at least, maybe it's not, we're not drawing in apartments and mixed use and, density in here.
And that may happen.
But
I think that's like-
and
that's
that-
like-
but that could be way down, and we could even allude to that. But to start, I think the city needs to say, this is, and I don't know if it's a sign or if it's the way it's developed or the
Needs to be an entry
streetscape, the
focal point.
landscaping. It's really putting your focus and letting people know they've arrived. It's a point of arrival.
You should notice
Um,
if you've
but
entered
it-
the city when you
but,
get there.
immediately, these are your neighborhoods, but it should kind of make people lean in to go that way.
I think people should know from here to here, there in Manassas Park, whether it be the lighting.
And here
be
too.
like The polling be different, because I've been to
Yeah.
cities where the polling's different.
Yeah,
has-
no,
you know,
that- we
And you're
can-
like, oh, I know I'm here because the polling's different from here to here. And there's just trees, yeah, or something. you know.
That alone, yeah,
Right
just
there.
the infrastructure, that would be huge.
But I really would like to see this one.
Yeah, coming north and
Okay.
south.
Okay, no,
There
I
should
got
be
you.
something that identifying, what's this way and.
Yeah,
this
wayfinding
way.
of sorts.
I mean, if you're
Right.
coming straight through, you don't know.
No.
But if there's some signage that
Signage,
points to stuff.
Yes.
It
Like
says,
the blue signs on the interstates or whatever, or
Yeah.
the state routes.
Third Friday or
Exactly.
whatever the event
Yes.
is
Yep.
and whatever they do up here.
Sure, the informational signs. And then, just keeping in mind the density part that came up with the two applications
Just
we
like
just
that.
heard.
Hold that there.
Hit this here too?
Yeah, but not removing the police department, but around it, integrating it into it.
And that's the
would be-
police department?
The police
There's
department,
it.
this one right
Oh,
here.
that's the back one, okay.
That's the police department. So
Which-
all
here
this,
north, okay.
this is the public works, this is the 7-Eleven, this is the shopping center, but all this here, but integrating, but you have a lot of room here. There is a creek
Got
back
it.
here.
Yeah, there's
But
floodplain.
there's
land
floodplain,
there.
but,
Yep.
but this way, I think is a possibility
Okay.
for redevelopment.
Lester's point, I don't want it to be lost.
Sorry, yes.
Which is
We
the
do want
density,
development, but we wanna
the
keep it-
density aspect needs to be addressed for
Yes.
anything we do.
Going forward.
Because that's one of the main struggles we've had.
As a tool. And
Yes.
as a guide.
As a guide, one of the main struggles we've had as a commission in working through approvals on applications is the density.
Yes.
We kind of dance around the density issue because it's not addressed in the plan,
Okay.
but it needs to be addressed
So we can
specifically.
be
Absolutely.
supportive of development,
For-
but keeping in mind that development, it should be a certain density
Right.
to fit more of the area versus just bringing, as much as we possibly can and packing it into
Yeah.
each area.
I guess I want to hear, though, too, what your thoughts are and what you've done for other communities in tying the areas together and making them more,
Connected.
what did you use? You used the term connected. I assume that's not
Accessible,
walkable.
connected.
It could be.
It can be trails,
Yeah.
wayfinding, I mean, just signage alone is one way to do it, but it can be trails, making sure missing sidewalk links are there. It could be
Lighting.
transit, a shuttle service, lighting, safety, a comfortable
Distinctive
walk.
landscaping.
Landscaping that's, safe.
I think we have a plan to put a trail, wasn't it, from here, back here?
So-
There's a
Yeah,
plan
but
through
we
the whole
can-
city.
Well,
I could go over
like
to
20
the-
years.
Like
20, 30 years.
I could probably
Think
pull up
about
some
how you
paperwork.
can
Yeah.
connect somewhere, how you can make it easy for people to either walk, bike, and you mentioned
Yes.
biking. So
Are transportation funds from the state generally available for connectivity of
Yes, I
transportation?
There is.
mean,
There's
some of these
intermobility.
items that you're talking about, Steve's been working on. I mean, I know they're trying to do this
Like
rails by
Rails to
trails.
trails or
but
whatever.
it's
Yeah,
not rails
that's
to-
right.
it's not
Some of
taking
them have been
over,
really
but it's
successful,
gonna be
yeah.
adjacent to that. And I think one of the proposed routes is through here. And it's supposed to be
We're
a
planning
Northern
grants.
Virginia
Yeah.
connectivity with Manassas.
another regional connection.
City of Manassas, and I believe, well, Prince William, and I think Fairfax County's a bit.
And there's another one here.
Steve would be my go-to
Here, this
guy to
way.
talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He could
no,
lead you
yeah.
guys right on the money.
And
He
they,
is a
I mean,
go-to.
he applies for various grants and submits, grants for different, because there's, I mean, I am not up on all the different transportation authorities or groups that they have, that you have to, if you have a plan or if you want an idea, you have to, apply for it to get money from them.
Yeah.
And, it's true, our plan is pretty deficient in those areas, except for all these new plans that Steve has, helped provide and produce.
Yeah.
So, but he would be a good, I mean, you mentioned the wayfinding and entrance signs. We do have a project that is going to do that specifically on 28 and then towards the city center or
Yeah.
downtown.
And you also have a project to develop complete streets
Yes.
along
Yeah, we
Manassas
do.
Drive.
Mhm,
Right?
mhm.
You're familiar with the term complete streets, right? So multimodal,
Yeah.
basically. And that
Yeah.
goes back to how do you connect the centers? Basically, non-auto connection. Yes, you could drive back and forth, but you can also walk and you can also bike. That and the landscaping is some of the best ways to connect your centers and to brand your major thoroughfares and have them all to a certain standard and look kind of a similar way.
Yeah, I like the idea of focusing on connectivity, because as Commissioner Evans said earlier, he observed that it's getting more difficult to move around the city with all the congestion across the whole area.
Absolutely.
And so that connectivity for 20 years from now is going to be really important to maintain that small city
Yeah.
feel that we
As
all,
much as we
that a
can.
couple of us identified we like, or I think we all
At least a
like
component
that.
of it, right? At least a component
Right.
of it, a piece of it.
Right.
Anyway, not to lose it all.
Right, and we all like having access to the amenities too, but we want easy access to the amenities. So I think that connectivity across all the areas is going to be real important.
Connectivity and choices in the connectivity is
Yeah, one of the ways that we, actually, to come back to your question, we did the comprehensive plan update for Fredericksburg last year. And they had already done a series of small area plans for the key areas in their whole city. And they asked us to connect them all and make policy improvements to the systems to pull them all together into one whole. So it's a little bit, it's sort of the opposite of what you're doing. You already have a center, you're interested in treating the three centers differently and charting out their future, and then the connectivity part is still there.
4.
Yeah, four.
3.5.
That one needs to come.
Yeah, we should, and Mickey, we'll talk about that with you and Calvin, about how we, how do we focus our energies
Yeah.
It
differently.
might be something small, I mean, it
Yeah,
doesn't
sure.
need to
We
be-
need to seize the opportunities that exist. I think that's
I
important.
think another thing to, under consideration is, talk about traffic, it's bad. What we have left here is not going to have a great impact on our traffic
Right.
in here. Our problem's here.
Yeah,
It's the
exactly.
And
It's-
there's nothing we can do to change that, and it's just gonna get worse
No, we-
because
we get it.
this is your shortcut,
Yeah.
Right.
which is good for commercial
Yes.
reasons.
So, yeah, it's a
But we're-
double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not a real solution to
I would
it.
actually say the DC area is probably the worst planned city I've been in the United States. It's the only one that is on a highway north to south, east to west. So of any major city in the United States.
It's tough.
Because of the highway
tough
reports.
geography,
And they didn't want it, so
very,
now we're
very
paying
tough.
for it.
Yeah.
You know, like every other city, it's a grid system. We don't have a grid, and then we have this way to go up, or you have to go all
No,
the way
it's-
around.
it's
And
tough,
it's just
yeah.
one of the worst, and then
Yeah.
you're supposed to build a road right here, and everybody opposes it, so everybody's
Yeah.
gonna be on here, and everybody opposes any type of road here, so we don't have any movement.
Was the outer beltway ever discussed?
The second one was, but they never moved forward.
But
because they
was that,
fought
would
it.
that have impacted Manassas Park at all?
It was supposed to go further away, it was further out,
Okay.
the second beltway.
Okay.
It's supposed to go 370 to Maryland and wrap all the way around. They've tried to build a second bridge west, and they fight that.
Yeah,
They go
it's
28.
just never gonna happen.
Okay, nobody wants anything here.
Yeah.
If one person fights and they don't go for it. So,
Try coordinating all those governments, yeah.
yeah, that's the issue. In 3 states and the federal government.
The only reason I said that is because I hear the traffic thing, there's not really nothing you're
It
gonna
takes
be
me
able
2
to
hours to
do.
get to work every day.
That's just where it's at.
Yeah, the traffic's gonna be what it is, the best thing
And
you
what
can do is.
little bit of impact we have left here,
Yeah.
it's not gonna affect us.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the outside stuff that
Yeah,
we have no
it's
control over.
relatively little, but the impact you
Which,
have.
which you could say is an argument for just making the best thoroughfares you can make. And don't prioritize throughput of cars. I mean, even on Manassas Drive, I mean, an extreme response was, we'll just make it a 2-lane street.
It's bad,
One in
it's
each
gonna be
direction,
bad,
and then
yeah.
have a linear park and be able to walk it and bike it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be congested. It's gonna be more congested after the project. It's gonna take us a little longer to get around, but that's gonna impact all the people that go through. And then people will choose to cut that way less often.
But it's
than
gonna be
they do now.
safer.
Yeah.
Or if they come down, they're going for what we have here is theater, shops,
Right, right.
those kind of
And they can still get in.
restaurants.
And they can take the train.
Sure,
The word's getting out, but it's not out fast enough
right.
To come here?
to come here.
Because our area is bad now, too. There's traffic going up here. I got 3 or 5.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's just, that's what it is.
I don't find Manassas Drive to be that bad. I don't personally find it. I can usually be pretty quick to navigate.
So what are some of the biggest challenges on the map?
I don't, probably cost, I think. I don't think.
So it's not geographic, it's more
No.
about, just getting it to implementing.
Yeah, implementing
Making it happen.
costs and getting the
Uh,
funding.
And how
Getting the
that-
actual retailers, the commercial businesses to build and come in, getting the housing in place.
And that knitting part or that
Yeah, yeah.
connectivity, how to do that.
And
in a
that's,
way
that's
that-
what we can do and help,
I mean, we're pretty
ideas as we
good,
go through
and the
it.
manager's been pretty good at getting the events going and
Yes.
overseeing it come, so, and he's actually a part, he's down there a lot, so he participates, so he sees it firsthand, the surveys, he has a good team. And he eats at all his restaurants.
Oh, can we?
I'll be there tomorrow.
Through this process, we request
support
the,
the- of course.
the orders?
He has his own booth, I think. You still got it?
I should have ordered ahead.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow,
I had the
Oh,
orders
it's
first time I
highly
came here.
closed.
Mine's
Earlier
gonna
this
work
year.
there.
And now when I'm,
In the evening. He has a trade
my mouth
tomorrow.
starts watering.
He wants to work.
What about Congress Center? We didn't talk about that.
I would love to
There must
get
be
your
some
take
hidden-
on, what would you like to see there?
Where?
Connor Center.
What do you think it could be?
What is the industrial future of Manassas Park?
I'm personally okay with the
That's a good
industrial area. I would
question.
like the streetscaping again to be nice, the utility
Just
underground.
tidy it up.
Walkable, at least like the main corridor of Euclid going all the way down, be more walkable on both
Yeah,
sides. I
yeah.
see bike paths on both sides. And that
And if that's
time,
get the connectivity going,
Yeah.
then maybe over
Right.
time, it'll morph into something else, or it'll enhance whatever it has. I
know.
don't know, it just,
I know people want to go this way, but they're not gonna let you go in there. They're just not, and I'm like, that's always on the,
Yeah,
never
well,
gonna-
that's
it's never gonna
right.
happen.
There
Wait, that
was-
again?
Property.
There was a proposal to
Go this
extend
way.
Euclid to go
Oh,
to
that- yeah, yeah,
20.
yeah.
Go the whole
First of all,
way
the
up.
floodplain, that's not even
Yeah,
gonna
I
happen.
know.
We should even take that
Well,
off the CIP.
It-
But
I don't, is it still on
Is it
there?
still in the CIP?
No,
because
I
it's not
think
even gonna ever
we-
happen.
Yeah, I think,
And this one back here too, to go across here, like, that's like
Oh.
behind Scott Drive,
That's like
right?
35,
Scott
40
Drive.
million dollars, and yet the eminent domain, like,
So,
that's not gonna do
so
all
would it
that.
be a fair statement, commissioners, to make that Connor Center is primarily our industrial area?
Yes.
And is likely to remain such, and there's no reason to change that?
there's
Unless the
possibility-
opportunity comes up
Yeah, there's some
over
type of
time, I
opportunity.
mean,
There's been discussion of
I
some
could
parts doing
see
data,
some parts down through
data-driven
here,
data
yeah,
centers on
and
this side.
it's changing.
How so? How so?
And changing property as far as the.
That they are
the type-
changing?
Not just industrial,
I can see you going residential.
somebody else.
Oh,
over to
okay.
residential.
It could change, okay.
Years from now.
I'm not saying that, that's it, but
Yeah.
there has been
and
past
making
talk
it
of
so
that.
it's walkable and people want to.
I don't know if you're gonna get much this far back, but
Right.
Used to
except
right
for,
here,
this
yeah.
is, but up here, this is still in this
could.
area. This
Maybe
area is
30 years.
almost built out. I mean, if you look at it,
Yeah.
and it's popular, it's getting popular every day.
Yeah.
And as the popularity grows, and it's gonna grow, it's not gonna
Yes.
go lower, I
No.
think.
No.
You're gonna see maybe a need for this down here somewhere.
So is this the area, where is the theater on this map? Is it-
Is the next part quick?
Is it right here? So this is the area, access. What's there now?
This is Owens Drive here. This takes you down to Owens Drive and
We're gonna probably wrap up any minute
the
now.
court.
No, I
These are
think
just
we're-
industrial warehouses. You have
Auto repair
auto
shops.
repair shops, you have cabinetry people,
KFC auto,
and
Skill set to provide.
equipment repairs and
But
stuff
like,
like that.
it's your eyes, I mean,
either you
like
can
you pointing out.
I'd like to see this
And
one.
If there's other areas.
I'd like a
the
corner for it, though. I don't know
connectivity
what the name is.
and
What's
try to
the road
protect
over
the
there?
natural environment and leave all the
Village
uses the
Square.
same. Or
10,
you
20, I
can
guess, I
go
don't know.
up the value
Yeah, I
chain
don't- we
of
don't.
industrial
these
flex
here should
into
come
a
off
mix
here,
of
the-
more
the
commercial with
homes
your
back here.
industrial.
Oh, those shouldn't be on this, yeah.
I just,
that
I know there was discussion.
No, I don't think we
Climbing
should.
sensors.
I just don't think we
more,
would get with them. It don't seem-
See, I like
Martial
that
arts kind of
idea.
places, and then people are actually gonna go there, as they do in some of the industrial flex in Springfield.
Yeah.
Because there aren't that many other choices, so they're looking for a place to go and do something.
I could very well see a brewery or winery or
So
something
could I.
going in here, and this,
Yeah,
taking
especially in
this
the center
area
part, right?
and connecting
Near-
into your city
near Park
center.
Central.
Yeah.
I could very well see
I
that.
like that idea, as opposed to the residential, because I just think since the area is already primarily industrial, it's going to be tough to carve out residential pieces, I would think, as opposed to the commercial.
I wasn't
The
specifically
commercial
thinking, yeah, residential, but I could see this building out, which is almost out. I could see something coming in here, it's got an idea, like the theater itself. I could see that.
If it's, yeah, if it's
You
accessible to
you
me,
mentioned
could do
it
both.
by a brewery or something like that?
Yeah, why
Absolutely.
Great idea.
well, that's
We want like a
some
wine.
really cool things.
You could allow some residential in the adjacent and do a mix of industrial and commercial up here.
Close winery and then Clifton, and then you've got the more, what was it, the tasting room in Manassas. But those are the closest, with
Is-
Paradise
yeah.
Springs and Clifton.
Not that close.
Is-
Yeah.
Just that tasting room in Manassas is the closest that I'm aware of.
Is there much of an
Yeah.
arts culture here?
Manassas has one, a little bit of one, but
Not really.
Not
we
really.
haven't really.
It's not one of those places where you're gonna see people setting up in an
So,
old
so a long
old
time
industrial
ago, because
building.
when I was on
having a
the first city
coffee.
council, I tried to mimic what Hyattsville had an art district as part of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we know- yeah, we
And
know
I was trying to
Hyattsville.
mimic a small piece to do it here and try to have branding
Where
for
would
it.
you, where, I know exactly, we were
Right in
just there.
Hyattsville, Route 1 there.
No, we know that, we were just,
Yeah.
where would
Yeah.
you do that here, though? Where would
No,
you-
no, I mean, that's what I initially thought, but they more branded it now in City Center, which I think is fine too, but I thought initially this development, this like from here to
Sure.
here, could have been more of an arts mix
So
with,
we see that in a lot of the old industrial areas there.
and a mix like that,
And so
because you could have built
I mean,
like a more,
Or a coffee roaster,
Yeah.
or it's a room, it's area for a startup
cheaper
who can't
real
afford the
estate.
larger rents, and then they
Yes.
try out a concept and they can move
Yeah.
into something else.
like, oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Whatever improves here is gonna end up eventually hitting the other three
It's gonna
places.
bleed- it's
It's gonna
gonna-
bleed
yeah, so
over.
to speak. Yes.
That's
a good
that-
problem.
that's your main area.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be some, those owners in Connor Center there'll be knocks at their door from developers at some point.
There will be.
Yes.
Yeah, if they haven't
Yes.
already.
So I think the connectivity becomes real important.
Yeah.
Then if you're going to build out the commercial into here, you need the connectivity between the two.
Yeah, which,
You already have a couple of roads making that connection, but you probably would need one along the back eventually.
When you give drivers more choices and
Yes.
a better, more grid,
They have reason
it's,
to
the
stick around.
traffic has
Sure.
a better way to disperse,
Yes.
especially if there's
Sure.
an emergency situation.
More choices.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, connectivity will be a key thing for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is great. I love the, get your perspective, so. And as always, if you have thoughts after, I'm sure you're gonna drive home tonight and
That's
have a
not
thought in your head.
You made me
Probably
nervous
easiest
right
to-
there.
Probably easiest to bring, I guess, anything through you, Mickey, if they
I get
have
really nervous about these,
thoughts,
so-
additional.
So, I don't want to lose my.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
the introduction.
Thank you so
we
much.
appreciate it.
We look forward to going on the
Looking
venture.
forward to our continuing, moving forward together. Would you like to?
Yeah.
So at this time then, we'll move along to the B&B Theater Site Plan presentation. Commissioner Barry? Administrator Barry, I'm sorry.
Well, I just wanted to go through this site plan with you, the commissioners, just to kind of go over what it's going to look like and some of the elevations I just wanted to mention to you and discuss with you what they're proposing. So, I mean, these are site plans, so, it really is just kind of a big square box. I don't want to have too much attention or too much time on this, but this is kind of the building. I did pretty it up on the landscape plan so you could see it a bit better.
Can I ask a quick question for that? I'm sorry, because I know you're quick, 'cause I just have to leave.
Yep.
Is it possible in the front here that they're going to have at least some bushes along, it's not just going to be grass and then a building, at least low level, like 2-3 foot bushes, like around at least the perimeter of the building? Is that possible?
Well, that's not what I don't see any there. That's not what they're proposing, but
Can I request some?
yeah,
I
I'm
mean, I don't know.
happy to
Would
see
you like
what.
to see some landscaping?
Because that, I mean,
against the
there's a
building?
sidewalk there that's up next to the building.
Something to break up the way it's looking.
So it doesn't look so just so.
Just like,
Okay,
so much like a theater.
like when I go to like some of these big box stores in other states, like they really make them put like trees in front and bushes and like, and we go to the one here and it's just, you walk right into it.
Yeah.
Like you can tell where the community really tells them to build a nice facade and, I don't know.
Sure.
Well, facade's the building or the nice entry level, I don't know, just a thought.
Okay, so you get an idea of what the
Yes.
building looks like. I did want to point out, and I skipped this, so I wanted to put this in here because this was part of the development plan for the rezoning, and they put in all this landscaping here. Unfortunately, there are so many utilities running through this area, and when I'm talking about this right here, they can really only limit the landscaping to against this wall here. So it's a bit of a disappointment, but can't really do anything about that, and I just wanted to highlight that for the Planning Commission.
But they'd be able to go against the wall, right? Putting a row
Yes,
of bushes
and
or something?
They are showing,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, so they're showing a variety of plantings, but
Okay.
it's not as robust as what was approved on the generalized development plan. Okay, I did want to touch on the guidelines that were approved as part of the rezoning and the proposed elevations. They've actually been kind of reviewing the building by third party. So staff hasn't had an opportunity to really connect with them, but we're going to be doing that this week. I just wanted to highlight some of the items identified in the design guidelines that were proffered. They specifically talk about the rear of Building B, and it says it's supposed to have architectural treatments, a series of them, piers, color contrast patterns coupled with landscape elements to break up the rear facade. And then it also talks about the one that faces Manassas Drive. It's supposed to be designed with a combination of brick and metal cladding and storefront where applicable. I mean, here is kind of an example of that, and that's taken from Fairfax Corner, and if anybody knows.
We won't say anything.
But so, yeah, what we need to work with them on, and here are some illustratives from the design guidelines. Now, again, this is kind of what they were proposing for this building. I will tell you, though, remember, they did, well, it didn't go to you, but the proffer condition amendment, they amended it just to have just the entertainment uses. There was supposed to be office in there, and that's no longer a part of it. But here are some of the renderings of what it's supposed to look like for Building B. Here's kind of what they proposed. And I like this slide because this is kind of the elevation that they showed as what the building's going to look like facing Manassas Drive. Here's a better picture of that. And then this is driving down Manassas Drive. This is what they envisioned you would see. And then this is the City Hall. So again, it's substantial conformance is what we have to look at. If what they're proposing is in substantial conformance with the proffers and these design guidelines. So I'm going to show you what I've obtained from actually it was from Carl in some of his discussions as well as the third-party plan reviewer. So this would be the front along Park Central Plaza, and you can see that, there is, there's grass down here. This is actually not completely accurate, but they want to have a little patio area, and then there's a grassy little area on the side there. Lots of signage, as you can see. Okay, so this is, of course, this is a shrunken version of the front of the building. This is the rear. And so I believe they're probably going to need to do some more work to get it in conformance with the design guidelines. I mean, I don't really see a lot of diversity. They do have some changes in the facades that breaks it up, but it's still pretty too uniform, and I think that doesn't meet our expectations. I just wanted to move on. And of concern, this is what they're proposing to face Manassas Drive. I think a little more work needs to be done. Yeah, I mean, that's a big, we want that to look nice. That is facing one of our main streets, is what we will see, actually, in the rear of the building, what you will see when you're driving down Manassas Drive. So those are why these two facades, the back and the side, are very important. So we're going to have to work with them to make sure that this is not what we see when we face Manassas Drive. So hopefully, I have to start discussions with them about this so they don't get too far into the design and the materials. So they're going to have to, manage it and hopefully come up with a better, more robust and attractive.
Some bushes, some trees.
So question for you, as I recall,
Landscaping going
Yeah, it was.
this is an upscale theater. Is that my understanding correct on this?
I believe so. Carl could talk more about it. He knows more about the business model than I do.
Yeah, this is the largest privately held movie theater chain in the world, and they only build upscale facilities. They all include more than movies. They also have a bowling alley, and I think in this one has an arcade and a restaurant as well. But yes, it's top end.
Okay, so
They serve food in the movie theater to you.
So I am perplexed then, as the other commissioners are, which is all of the pictures, drawings, everything is devoid of any landscaping at all. And if it's upscale, I would think the landscaping would be critical to them selling it as an upscale theater. So they should certainly include the landscaping in their next version of their
Well, now, to be
drawings for
fair,
us.
the building elevations never have any landscaping, so, but the site plan, which I'm trying to find now, does show limited landscaping opportunities next to the building, because most of it, they have a walkway, as you can see here. So this actually goes down. The building will be set down, and this walkway will be, down. So when you look at Manassas, you'll see the wall, but actually kind of the pathway is below eye level as it continues. And they are seeking to acquire some right-of-way there, so they can extend this little patio out for more outdoor seating area. But I will relay that to them. They are proposing some landscaping in this green area. Perhaps they can put some landscaping in these. There seems to be a little indent of the building here that maybe there's some opportunities at that point.
Just looking at the front of the building, I mean, just between the two doors or like the emergency exit doors on the other rendering, I mean, I think they could put a row of bushes against the wall in each one.
Okay.
I'm not saying they don't have to go high, but just something that'd be more appealing, especially because I can tell the original building was all glass, and they're saving a lot of money
Right.
to not have to, to bring the exterior of the building,
Okay.
to be, I don't know, it's just my thinking. And especially if they're going to do this, if they're coming down and you're going to see that versus what you could see prior in the other pictures, because it looks very different, it looks very nice. At least if they had some bushes or some landscaping, not just flowers, but, some bushes.
Right,
It would at least grow a little bit higher and at least would see some greenery, at least I think.
Okay.
Trees.
And not to take people's eyes off the road or whatever,
Yeah.
but there are projections, and I don't know how that would even work, but there are, because that's a big wall area too. So, there's, I don't even, without making it a hazard, but
Yeah.
it is a movie theater or it's a theater, so if they were, putting up the most recent movies, like a picture of the most recent movies, the 3 or the, whatever it might be, that doesn't cause a trap, but at least may take up some of that wall space too, that makes it look more than just the walls.
Okay. Yeah, well, if you mean like a screen that's showing, like, coming soon or
Yeah,
little,
maybe
trailers or
like that.
something?
I know they can
Okay.
project on walls, and I'm not sure exactly how that would be set
Yeah.
up, but that might be able to take up some of that.
Actually, that would be, we would consider that a sign, so that
Yes.
would be kind of part of their sign package.
Sure.
I will note
I know we
that,
pulled that out, and the city manager, we pulled that out as a possibility in the future, because I think there was going to be. some type of sign,
you
yeah.
mean the screen?
The screen
Yes.
outside.
The screen would not have been there, though. The screen would have been on the plaza
Right.
side.
And we're not doing that anymore.
It is gonna be prepared for us to put a screen at some later date if we decide we want to.
Electronic board or something on that side
Right.
with special events for the city
There you go.
and stuff.
On the
Might bring
plaza
some-
side or on the Manassas
The
Drive
Manassas
side?
Drive
Drive
side.
side.
Okay.
As part of that.
Just so long as it doesn't change too quickly or
Right.
doesn't take
But if we
away.
do that, we would want to have it similar to the other 3 signs we're going to put around the city. We wouldn't want to have like 3 signs and a different sign, and it's just, I don't know, I just
I'm talking
thought.
about something electronic that you can change it.
So
but
we're
city
gonna
events.
have 3 of those signs. They presented council. We're gonna put around the city that has like events and stuff, and they have like a
Like message
the
board.
logo.
Oh, right, the message,
The
yeah, the
we're gonna have
electronic
actually, like,
message
nicer ones
boards,
that
right.
actually like the one Manassas City has. Or we can get something.
Yeah, that, we
Yeah.
are proposing that for
They
the
are putting that one there.
median in Centerville Road.
Yeah,
So,
and then on
mhm.
the other side as
Yep,
well. But if we were to do one down there, it'd probably be best to mimic all 3.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, or to mimic the other 2. I don't know. Just thought.
And the signage, I mean, I don't have all the specifics, but I don't think it's going to meet the guidelines and regulations in our sign ordinance. They can avail themselves of a waiver for a sign as a master sign plan, but we have to look into that more. I mean, it's a lot of signage, but I think that's their brand. So we'll try to work with them on that. And I don't think I mentioned, but this is what will be facing the townhomes across the way. So that's a little better. But yeah, we need to kind of look at those elevations and make some recommendations and changes for them. So that's all I wanted to apprise the commission of, just so we know that staff does see this as a concern, and we're going to work with it.
Very good.
Appreciate it, thank you. And do you have any information for us? Oh.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Very good. Then with that, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and hope your new year starts off well, and look forward to seeing you all in January. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Carrera, second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Evans. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The time is 8:21.
Well, thank you for your input.